We've been talking a lot about the future. That's why we thought it would be important to bring a speaker who could help us harness the power of technology today. You're about to experience something different. Mitch Mitchem is a disruptor who spent his career helping people break barriers and rethink what's possible. Today, he's here to move us past the hype and novelty of AI and into the phase of implementation, showing us how to make AI truly useful. Welcome, Mitch Mitchem.
Give her a hand, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, before we get too deep into this, let's have a little test. By the way, make some noise if you believe AI will impact everything we do as a society over the Not yet. What is it? This is a show. Hold on. Over the next year. Clap your hands. Okay, but how many of you use AI all day, every day? Make some noise. How many people still don't use it? How many people don't have any idea what's about to happen? I just want to be clear that we're on the same page. So before we get started, I want to show you some fun things. I'll tell you about me and what we do, and you're going to learn a lot here in the next 9 hours, so stay with me. But let's start simple and have a little chat with my friend ChatGPT just for a second. Hey there, man. Listen, really quick, 2 things. One, I'm really nervous. I'm in front of a few people here, so I just need some encouragement. Number 2, what I need you, because we're going to bring our conference probably to Orlando next year. I really need some understanding. Is it a great city to have a conference in? Go ahead and help me with that.
Hey, you got this. It's totally normal to feel nervous. But remember, you're well prepared and you're gonna do great. Take a deep breath and just be yourself. Everyone out there is rooting for you. As for Orlando, it's definitely a fantastic choice for a conference. The city has top-notch convention centers, tons of hotels, and plenty of entertainment options. Plus, it's easy to get to with a major airport and lots of direct flights.
Okay, nice, thank you. That's really good. Now, hang on, I wanna do a little something with you though, because what I think we need is we're going to need some deep research here. So I'm going to go to deep research. Don't worry, I'll explain all this to you in a second. Hey, I need you to spend some time. Build me a full prospectus on everything about Orlando I need to know. I need to know the best venues to hold a 300-person conference. I need to know the best restaurants, highest rated. I need you to do this research thoroughly so that I really understand the best time of year to come to Orlando. Take your time with it. Really find some customer feedback, and I'll check back in with you later, okay? Here we go. Now, what we're going to do, if you haven't done this already, I like to start with this because first, we're going to talk about a lot of models today, but in ChatGPT Deep Research, we get the chance to really go to a whole other level of workflow, a whole other level of making AI really become a part of the fabric of what we do every day. So by the way, ChatGPT came back with some great questions, which I'm going to answer a few of them. Yeah, the theme is going to be around AI and human development. I don't really have a preferred budget range right now, but let's keep it below $1 million for gosh sakes. And I want local insights for sure, and the conference is 3 days. Go get them, Tiger. And now we're going to let it build. Build, build, build. All right, perfect. And there it goes. So we're going to let deep research work for a little bit while we have another conversation. All right, so everybody just make some noise right now. Let me hear you. That's good, all right. I like that. Well, my name's Mitch. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit to tell you why am I even qualified to be on the stage. There's one thing about me you should know first. I studied comedy at Second City in Chicago. I then worked at a nightclub called Excalibur and built a comedy show called Comedy You Can Dance To in the 90s. And then ended up at Universal Studios in Orlando on that stage in 1998, doing that every day when the park would dump. We would collect that audience, move them through City Walk because it had just opened, and had the time of our lives. And something we learned back then, so Universal, where are you? Let me hear you. Yeah! I missed that stage. I was a lot harder to work with back then. I apologize. But one of the things I learned, though, through that part of my journey in entertainment was how audiences and humans, you can see it in this group, by the way. Those of you that are under 40, that's the 90s, and there are no phones. Just take that in for a second. So one thing about back then is that, and now, that humans need to be connected. We need to be connected with each other, and I learned a lot of skill about how to do that. After that, I went into learning and development for about 15 years and really learned everything from leadership development to large conference facilitation and everywhere in between about how to get behavior change from people, real, honest behavior change. It takes a lot of work and effort. Then I left that organization because I was going through a divorce, and the best thing to do when you're going through a divorce is what I did. I built a dating app. Now, the dating app was in a very specific industry, the cannabis industry. The dating app was called Hi There, H-I-G-H-T-H-E-R-E, Hi There. You had 420 characters, of course, to tell your story. By the way, everyone at your table that just laughed, now you know who the cannabis consumers are at your table. 420 characters. We grew from 0 to 300,000 users in less than 11 months when I sold the company. It was an incredible journey, but it taught me something about how we were over-customizing ourselves even 10 years ago, how we were over-customizing society. You could order a pizza, a movie, and someone to hang out with all on the same device. And society hasn't really improved about that too much. So all that to tell you, when I built Hive after COVID, it was to combine a lot of things from my past and disrupt how we were going to teach human skill. So how do we get to AI? Well, in 2022 in March, because I was on a list of former CEOs of tech companies, I got an email that I almost ignored, and the email was an invitation to try out this thing called ChatGPT. I almost deleted this email. I'm not kidding you. Luckily, I opened it. The first thing I did is I said, oh, I don't know what this is. So I said, hey there, what do you do? And it said, I can build things, write things. I go, great, build me let's see if I can trick you. Build me a 10-step training program around presentation skills that I can deliver at a large conference in a week. And I'm thinking, let's see what it's got. And it was like, done, 30 seconds or less. I said to my team then, I said, we have a problem. Everything in the world is about to change, flip upside down, and be reorganized. Time to get to work. We then spent time mastering the tools as they came out, one at a time. ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude 3.4, 5, 7, OpenAI, ChatGPT 4.0, 3 mini, 01, whatever. There's so many models. And what we really wanted to do was, how could we make these useful? So then I went off and spoke about it, and then next thing I know, we're working with the Colorado Rockies and DMOs around the country, and we're working with big clients all over the world. Because humans needed some things which I'm going to teach you today. All that to tell you, you heard that AI talking to me, and those of you that use it a lot know it's becoming way more human in a very fast way. But I promise you, it's just mimicking. But what's happened is, as the machines are getting more human, the question we have to ask ourselves, which is what we're going to do with the machines today, is we need to ask ourselves, are we getting more human? Are we becoming more or less of what we're capable of, or are we just sort of using these things without really thinking about those skills? So there are a couple things. I'm not going to get into all this very deeply, just in essence of time, but those of you that use it all the time already know this. We use it personally quite a bit, so I'm going to walk you through a couple of these. One of them is I have 4 kids. They are 21, 19, 17, and 3. There's always somebody. I heard him right up front. This guy goes, whoa, oh, yeah. You okay, man? Yeah, I'm good. So we use it for a lot of family therapy, as sir, you might imagine. So a lot of that, my wife and I will sit down, we'll talk to ChatGPT or to Claude or one of the other models, Gemini, and we'll have conversations with it. Hey, we're trying to work this out with our 17-year-old son. He's in basketball. We're trying to talk to our daughter about being in college. We're trying to understand more about what our 3-year-old needs. We'll go through that. Now, by the way, the weirdest thing is when my wife and I put ChatGPT in the middle of our debates, she still wins. And I don't know if she's programming it. I don't know what she's doing or if I was just always wrong. I don't know. We also use it, I use it a lot for personal, like an assistant all the time. When I'm in the car on the way here today, I was just talking to it. I was just talking to ChatGPT, trying to get some ideas about something else we're working on. And then this other piece I want to show you, this is our 3-year-old son and I on Claude 3.5. This is before 7 came out. And we were basically, I was teaching him that Claude was coding. It was coding a new app for him. And when it got done, based on these things we told it we wanted, it built an app that all he had to do was push buttons, and he could start learning letters. And we customized it with Claude so that it said things like dad, brother, mom. And then it kept going, mom is the best, mom is amazing. You see there's a pattern in my house? So with the family stuff, it was so incredible to watch our 3-year-old, who, by the way, I don't know how many of you have kids, say yeah? Our Gen Z kids will never know the world without the internet. That Gen Alpha son of mine will never know a world without AI in everything. So we have to start preparing him now. I don't know if you know this, China just started to mandate that all children in China must study at least 8 hours a year of how to use AI effectively. Meanwhile, our schools are still trying to catch students cheating with AI. We have some work to do with this new concept. So at business, I won't go into these in great detail, but we use it for everything. We use it for client engagements, for writing scripts. But at the end of the day, the humans have to get in there and do something, which is what we're all about. Now, a couple of things that are important. Those of you that still are worried or not thinking about AI, or you feel like you're not really sure what to do with it, you need to know that globally, about 80% of all white-collar use is happening right now. People attempting to use it, 80% of the people that are engaged in white-collar work are trying to use it right now. However, the challenge is only 6% say that they're tripling or more their output. And the reason is only 6% are trained on how to use it properly. Those of you that use AI, you probably run into this all the time. You treat it like a Google search. Hey, find me this, do this. You sound like a 2-year-old who's trying, I want this, I want it now, more restaurants. Come on, ChatGPT. Meanwhile, we have to engage it like a person, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. And then finally, this is the thing that I think we have to really be paying attention to around leadership. Only 15% of US-based leaders say that they're implementing some type of AI training or enablement. They're letting it occur. And they're kind of just hoping everybody figures it out. And so this is why we are on this mission to help folks like you today. Large businesses, small businesses, doesn't matter. As long as there are people doing work with people, then people have to learn the tools of tech to be more effective. Now, we have a quiz we're going to give you right now. Here you go. It's a quick quiz. It's not complicated. If you're under 40, you can answer this question. If you're over 40, you're not permitted to answer. Okay, if everybody agrees to the rules of the quiz, say yes. What is this device? Under 40 over, and you can't, under 40 only, and you can't say it's a phone. BlackBerry is correct. You cheated with someone at your table who's much older, I can guarantee it. This is not just any BlackBerry, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 2007 BlackBerry Curve. This was the Cadillac of the phone. Small screen, simple tasks, until its evil nemesis showed up on scene and the world changed. The iPhone came out in 2007. Those of you that don't know, in 2007 when the iPhone released, BlackBerry had over 50% of the global phone market. Nailed. It was secure. It was good. It was effective. Everyone loved that they could change the color on that little trackball. Those of you who don't know this thing would change colors. That's amazing. And there was no better feeling than typing and feeling those keys moving under your finger. We all at first had to adjust to this whole iPhone thing. But iPhone just took over. It dominated. By 2008, 9, and 10, iPhone was crushing. People at your table who are over 40 will tell you this. They had to take 2 phones to work, their BlackBerry and their iPhone, and they had to just carry them around like a brick, like this all day. And this disrupted the market in ways that was literally unbelievable. At the time, corporate security was a major thing. It was a big deal. But if you look right there, the adoption speed for the iPhone in blue skyrocketed. It made it almost impossible for security networks to manage. It became heavy, really hard to deal with. So what did they do? They did what any smart corporate universe did. They said, forget it, just bring your own device. It's too much work. And so the movement of BYOD was born, bring your own device. And a whole new set of training occurred. Now, I want you to pay really close attention to those bars on that far side, the ones that say adoption speed, because AI's speed is way bigger, way bigger. It's crazy fast. Not only one tool like an iPhone, there are dozens every day that get released. Moment after moment after moment, there's something new. You can feel like you're drowning in it. And at the same time, you've got to learn the skills of it. But here's the good news. I'm here to give you good news. The skills are basically human skills. They're things you should already know, things you should already be aware of. You want to get safety, your team needs skills. I don't care if you have a team of 4 or 4,000, you need the skills to interact. That's what creates the safety, which I am going to show you. Now, let me tell you this. OpenAI and other big firms won't teach you the skills for one reason. You don't have enough people. If you're under 5,000 licenses of ChatGPT, for example, they will not teach you enablement. You have to be above 5,000 licenses. It's kind of like Salesforce. So it's hard to get the skills. And by the way, if you ever go on YouTube and some guy says, hey, here are the top 20 prompts for your industry, he looked those up on AI 5 minutes before he shot that video. I promise you. I promise you. That's what he did. So you need a different set of skills. You need something very different because safety, if anyone cares about that, which they should, safety is about how you use it. BYOAI, 30% of people, 30% of BYOAI is controllable, 90% of enterprise, but only 35% of US brands are trying enterprise. Many of them aren't. One of the things we hear all the time, people say, well, we're going to wait and put it in our budget next year. I'm like, next year? Whew, I don't know where you're going to be. It'd kind of be like if they said, we're not going to use the internet this year. We're going to start next year. Everyone would think they're crazy, but they'll say that with AI. So 65% are trying it out on their own, and they're not doing a very good job. As a matter of fact, no matter what model you use, the skill I'll give you here in just a second, I'm going to give you several skills that if you walk out of here today, you're going to get better at how you use any of these models. One thing you'll notice right away, as you use these models, they're all very similar. Just like that ChatGPT I showed you, they're all very similar. We've got Manus on the right. You may or may not have heard of that. How many people have heard of Manus? Say yeah. Manus is from China. And so it's a Chinese version of a ChatGPT, super fast. How many have heard of Grok? Say yeah. There's a lot of disgruntlement in the front. They were like, yes. So Grok has a twofold problem if you want to bring it into your company. The first problem is Elon Musk, his team built XAI. And there are some people, when you say, hey, the company, and I've had CEOs tell me, we want to bring Grok Enterprise. I'm like, you're going to have 50% of the population that wants to burn it like a Tesla. I'm just warning you, they're not going to use it. And matter of fact, they're going to hate that you want to use it. Matter of fact, we should not even be saying these things out loud. Stop talking. I'm neutral. Shh. The other part of Grok that's really interesting, and Facebook is having, or Meta is having this same problem, in Grok, you can go from be my voice assistant to be unhinged, which is like, hey, stupid, what do you want today? Because why do we want that? All the way over to a category called not appropriate for work. And it's just picking which one you want to talk to. Can you imagine if you're the guy last night that was talking to one on that end, and today you were in a meeting and you were like, hey, Grok, really quick, I'm in this meeting, can you give me some notes? And it was like, first, baby, let's talk about last night. I don't know who had my phone. I've been hacked. So they're all kind of similar with slightly different variations. All of that to say what's most important for you is none of that. It's your skill on how you communicate with them. Okay, another quiz. How many of you think you know what the most common first prompt is in the AI space, in chat, in sort of large language models? What's the most common first prompt? Just yell it out. What was that? Make this sound better. That's a great answer. That is completely wrong, but I like it. Any other ones? Okay, who said hi? You get 1,000 points. The most common first prompt is hi. Now, we got this from OpenAI and verified it with 2 other models. Let me explain to you how this goes. Someone sits down in front of a multi-billion-dollar piece of technology, about to start their workday, and they go, all right, I got this. I'm good. No, I'm going to write the whole sales thing. I'm going to do the RFP. Trust me. Hi. Right? Good. ChatGPT or whatever model comes back. Hey, how's it going? How can I help? I'm working. And that's it. Then most people leave and never come back after 5 prompts. Anyone who leaves after 5 prompts and never returns because they don't know how to communicate. By the way, what are we surprised about? Because think about yourself right now. How do you communicate with other people? Rapid fire texts, rapid fire emails, quick responses. You probably speak to if you have teenage children like I do, or Gen Z, you talk in a lot of bruh, no cap. What? Bruh? By the way, want to mess with your kids who are teenagers? Here's what you do. The next time they text you with that kind of language, you put it into the AI of your choice, and you say, hey, real quick, translate this into a normal human adult speech. Then you write your response, and you say, put it back in Gen Z language. I did this with my 17-year-old, and he just texted back in the clearest language ever written, Dad, please never do that again. So if hi is the most common first prompt, the question is, as AI has learned from us, it's also revealed some things that I'm going to show you that we lost. And some of those that are really important is this idea of how to work with others. We're not really good at this anymore. And so one of the things you need to do is you've got to treat AI models like they work for you, like they're part of your life, part of your team. By the way, I'm going to give you a QR code at the end, and we'll give you this slide deck with lots of notes, don't worry. This is just step 1. First of all, it's an assistant, a really smart add-on to your life, personal, professional, everywhere. The second piece is, if you're in an organization, you've got to get past the point where you think it's like any other tech. It isn't. OpenAI, ChatGPT pulled in tens of millions and then 100 million people within 45 days. It's the fastest technology. So you've got to implement it like it's part of your team. Not to say that it's autonomous. That's not useful. But that your team is looking at it like a useful part of their workflow each and every day. We've trained 30,000 people in the last, 19 months on just how to do this. And I'm telling you, it's astonishing, just the basic human conversational ability. And generationally, it's all very different, just so you get some facts. 65% of all AI users are Gen Z. The Gen Z users, by the way, use it mainly for cheating. I'm just going to be honest. The next group is millennials, 28%. That's the smallest group of users. And then 57% of people who try or attempt or use AI are actually Gen Xers and boomers. And by the way, we're two different groups of people. Gen Xers are not boomers. Those are our parents, okay? Stop it. We exist. 65 million, I'm not going to get into this with you. But look to your elders. No. But if you think about why that's happening, here's the second skill I want you to walk away with. A lot of us think AI has this supreme intelligence, and it is incredibly brilliant. It's really good at taking information and bringing it back around the way you need it. But what really makes it work is your unique knowledge, your skills, your experiences, your wisdom. That's why Gen Xers and boomers, two different groups, that's why they're always using it differently once they learn the tool, because they've had experience. Now, by the way, I'm an authority on generations. I have a Gen Alpha kid, Gen Z kids. My wife's a millennial. I'm a Gen Xer. My parents are boomers. So back off me. I know all of the things there are to know about all the generations. But I will tell you this unique experience is what really matters. When you are using AI, when you approach it, I'm going to give you this model. When you approach it, the goal should always be, how do I put myself into it? How do I explain it, my background? Even starting by saying, hey, I've been in the tourism industry for 30 years, 20 years, 15 years. I need uncommon answers. I need creative solutions. I need things that are more tactile. I need to know how to integrate this with my team because I'm experienced. The AI will meet you where you are. And so it's critical that you leverage those experiences. And then we'll give you a copy of this. This is, after all these people we've trained on how to use it, this is our model that works universally. It's who, what, why, how, an example, questions, and anything extra. Here's what this does. If my first prompt is to build what I just said into AI, which we're going to check on at the end, my first prompt is to build a big plan to bring my conference to Orlando, what I have to do is give it the context of what I'm trying to do. I have to say, here's who I am, here's what we're doing, here's why we want to do it. By the way, here's how we want to do it and kind of what I need you to do. Here's an example of what I mean, and also here are some questions, and ask me questions. And you invite these things in, and now you're collaborating with a technology that's built to be a pleasing machine, to tell you yes. By the way, is this useful so far? Just clap or yell or scream. Very good. This model, we've seen it tested in the wild. We do a lot of work with the Colorado Rockies and a lot of major league sports teams. And I'll tell you, when they adopt this model, they are suddenly changing their workflow. When they make it urgent instead of extra, they change their workflow. I'll give you a perfect example. We had a meeting with all the leaders there, and one of the leaders from HR, she said, our leaders have got to say to people, when we're in the meeting, someone have your computer out, and let's put the ideas through AI. On the run-up to the meeting, they're starting to do what we do. We don't let anybody come to a meeting unless they've already put their ideas through some type of an AI engine to make them better, more thought out, more creative, better ideas, more bold statements about how we're going to implement. That's a model shift. Instead of an add-on, it's important. You can practice this, by the way, if you have a company that's like, we are not allowing AI right now, that's okay. Talk to it around your house about house things, okay? My family, my parents are in their 70s. They use AI all the time, okay? So you can use it all over. The value of knowledge is dropping to zero. Now that's not to scare you, that's to empower you, because what it means is the more you connect with each other, the more valuable your wisdom becomes. The more you're sitting in your room and you're like, let's get the tactical off our backs and let AI do it with these models, and then let's work on getting really creative and expanding our ideas and really working on how we go to the next level. And it will change the way you function in your business. It has to be a part of your workflow at all times. Okay, so now what? Well, first, I'm going to check in on ChatGPT and see how it's doing and just see where we're at with our model. And while I'm doing that, I just want to say this, that I think part of what you've also got to remember is that AI today will not be AI tomorrow. So it's not connecting. So I'm gonna give you a couple of steps right now that you can do. And then I'll send you that report, by the way, because it is finished. I'll send it to everybody as part of the slide deck. But here's what I want you to think about. Right now, think about in your life, in your business, at your work, what is something that is taking up your time? My first step for you is do not try to change the world in a day with AI. You'll exhaust yourself. Instead, you say, what's the thing eating my time? Well, that's probably your email. I had a client of ours, she said, I think I'm the only one on the team that's not using AI because I'm just not sure if I want to implement yet. And I'm like, how's your email box, Rachel? And she goes, I go, why don't we just start there and work our way out? So you've got to use it in those ways. Get it to write your emails with you. Get it. If we had more time, I could go much deeper into all the features. You can now edit inside of AI before you put it into an email. But that's the first thing. You have to be using it at least 2 to 3 hours, at least an hour a day, 2 hours a day to be practicing. This is first. And you've got to talk to it second, like a person, like it's someone you like, that you want to spend time with. Like, hey, help me with this. You're my assistant. I spoke to a group of leaders about 6 months ago, a room like this, all leadership. And I said, how many of you think you're great at delegating? And every hand goes up, bam, like that. And then I said, okay, so how many of you think your employees would say you're great at delegating? And no hands went up. And then I said, now, I showed them all the demo, and like I showed you, and I said, now, how many of you, after you see that, think you're good at communicating? No hands go up, because we've lost this ability. So the third piece I'll tell you is you've got to get better at how you communicate with each other. We've got to get back human skill so you can use it in AI. AI is built to be a pleasing machine. I said it before. AI wants to give you the right answers all the time. It wants you to say yes. It wants you to say, it was awesome. You did a great job. Thank you so much. It wants to make you better. Right now, I have my AIs trained that when I'm talking to them, they will say to me, hey, I like what you wrote there. You want to make that a little better? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Because I like permission-based stuff. So they'll make you that much better, that faster. But you have to be putting them to practice every day. Now, before I turn you on to this for a second, I want to tell you one thing. Those of you that feel like you're behind, you feel like you're late, you feel like you're not getting it done with AI yet, you feel like you got to catch up, you got to make things happen faster, let me just tell you, you're right on time. There are people in this room, I guarantee you, that in 1995, 6, 7, and 8 thought the internet was a fad. They're here among us. They do exist. And yet today it would be ludicrous to think that the internet is not going to be effective. The AI is the same. And this is before we even get into what's coming around making AI more automated and doing things like that. The other thing I will tell you, something really important, when it comes to marketing, you have to have 2 plays going on. You still have to have your ads online, your ads on Google, that's still important. And you need the best reviews you've ever had online. We did a test with 2 hotel chains. I'm not going to say who because I think they're both in the room. This was at a conference for Meeting Planners International, and we said, which one is better at this destination city if I want to take my family for a week? It came back with one over the other, and I thought they were going to have a fight in the room. It was very uncomfortable. But we asked why. Why did you pick one over the other? And it said you wanted the best, so I only sought after the best reviews that looked to be the most credible. And so it went after reviews based on my parameters. So if you don't think reviews matter for your business in tourism, if you don't think they are supremely important, I'm telling you it's how AI is going to start indexing whether or not something has value. And by the way, a lot of the developers are very young and they don't like 4.5 stars or under. So they're picky. I mean, I have a 19-year-old daughter. If I say, hey, we're going to this restaurant, she's like, 4 stars, Dad? No, ew. I'm like, 4 stars? You know where I used to eat in Chicago in the 90s? Like, have you had any idea what kind of taco? Never mind, I don't want to get into this. So I'm telling you that it is going after that in a very, very big way. All right, the last thing I'm going to leave you with, this QR code will get you access to, you go to the bottom of the page where it's on. Obviously, you can join up and do other things on that page. But if you go to the bottom and you fill it out, if you had a great time, my name's Mitch. If not, my name's Glenn. All right, and I'm the CTO of, no, I'm kidding. But I want to hear from you and your feedback and what challenges you're having, and I want you to have this slide deck along with the prompt that I did earlier. So I'm going to leave you with this. I think there's something big, and I hope this was useful. Normally we have a lot more time, but I wanted to get you something you could use today. Put it to work. Use the prompting model that we gave you. And remember that, like I said at the beginning, the machines are getting more and more and more human. And the only question is, as you are interacting with a very human-facing machine, the only question is, are we getting better or worse? It's good at empathy. Are we good at empathy? It's good at communication, really good. Are we as good? And more importantly, will we open our minds to let it teach us how to be better? Because that is how we're going to get into the future together. And I just want you all to know this, because there's always fear in the room. But I'm going to tell you, we all belong in the future, and the future will have tools like this, but it's going to have humans like us that know how to use them effectively, and we actually enhance the human experience, or what we call the human element. And I want to thank you all. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you out there.